So Twitter and many other tech companies, Meta, etc., are doing mass layoffs. There are a lot of companies doing a lot of mass layoffs, particularly in the tech industry. And a lot of this is because with the quantitative easing and all these efforts by the Fed of raising interest rates to astronomical levels at this point, um, comparatively to what they once were, uh, means that a lot of the debt that these companies have accrued is going to come due soon. So it's going to be more expensive. So the whole point of these companies doing this is so that they can be able to handle the recession climate that these high interest rates are going to create. And believe me, we are either in or going to enter a recession soon enough. Um, and so the tech companies are doing a lot of these mass layoffs, as many other companies are doing sort of a lot of layoffs. Other industries that may just not be hit as hard by this because some of them do need more ramped up production. They need more production rather than less, because they're goods that were kind of low stock before during the pandemic, and so we need to ramp up production. So you need more staff. You need not necessarily less. Um, so there's not as much mass layoffs in other industries, but particularly people are really focusing on the mass layoffs in the tech industry. And I want to caution. Uh, Part of this video is to caution a lot of people, because I know that like big tech, censoring people, doing all this kind of stuff, shadow banning people, and doing a lot of harm through the social media landscape. It makes people paint the entirety of the tech industry, or anyone who works a tech job, as not being any sort of work at all, like you do nothing all day. Um, and while I would say that it's less physically demanding, there are other aspects to these kind of jobs that are important, and the people who are actually doing like coding and stuff like that, they're much more valuable to the company than say someone who is just being like an HR, or like a they're being like a lot of these other things. Maybe marketing people, sales people, or whatever. Like those people are kind of valuable to the company, but the most valuable people, of course, are the people building the product, um, which is whatever technical product, whether it be a website or an app, or whatever it may be. Um, though but a lot of people are willing to lump all of these people together. I've seen people, a lot of people say the laptop class, this kind of stuff, and it's not that I'm necessarily like offended by it. It's just that I know that that being someone who does work as a web developer, like that would like put me in the same box as a lot of these other people, and so I don't want to be painted in that light, because people will come like I understand it. Some of it is envy, right? Like that's that. I think that's part of it. It's part of it is envy of like, oh, you get to work a cush job while I, work in a factory for 10 hours a day, or so part of it is envy. It's sort of like a class envy, this kind of thing. But I don't want to. I don't view myself as like being above like that. That's the funny thing is I'm one of the few people, I guess, that doesn't like take that for granted, because I have had to put in some effort to get to this point. I had to finish college and then get the jobs that I did to be able to continue working in this industry. So um, that's one of the things. I think that the people who are like that really just think that oh well, you should be, and a lot of it comes down to this idea of hard work, and I should do another video just specifically talking about the idea of hard work, because there are a lot of people who will do things the most difficult way possible. They will bang their head against the wall for 10 hours or whatever, And then they think that they've worked really hard or whatever, or like like you don't do anything, but you look like you're doing something. I guess or you're doing something so repetitive and you do it for long enough of a period of time that you think it's quote unquote hard work. Um, and that happens a lot. I mean, even in you know there's a lot of different aspects, like, but a lot of people think that hard work means like actually like you should just kill yourself because that's the not like literally, but um you should kill your body and destroy your body and mind and soul for this whole company, or else you're not working hard enough. That's sort of a tangential thing, but like people think that uh, killing your physical form, killing your body, killing your mind, killing your entirety of your soul, just for the corporation is doing hard work, and I don't think that's necessarily the case. There's a lot of things that where you can add like 10 times the value by doing even minimal effort. It's just doing the right things and not necessarily always doing something. This is a problem with like people who believe in sort of like a lot of mega government solutions, is that they think that do something, like please do something about this. We have a problem. Let's do something. And doing something often is worse than doing nothing. A lot of times. So sort of tangential, but the hard work crowd always seems to think that like tech workers don't work hard, that they never do anything, and yet then there's also then they talk about these, like they'll do this in the same breath. They'll talk about, oh, tech workers do nothing, and then all of a sudden, oh well, these employees that are crunching for like 12 hours straight, they should know that it comes with the territory. Like they have to sleep at the at the office and to finish making a video game or something like that. Oh, that's just part of the job, part of the job. And all of a sudden, like, oh well, tech workers don't work hard, but also, oh well, he's having to work 12 hours, part of the job. So you see where I'm going with this? Like they can't square the two. That like either you have to kill yourself doing a job, like you have to kill your body, mind, and soul doing a job, or you're not doing anything. Uh, this even goes to like a lot of people would say this about like teachers and stuff like that. Like I know like my wife is a teacher and she does a lot of stuff um, for her job, and all of it, not all of it necessarily is something that I would agree with, that we should be doing. Like maybe we should be doing things that actually help these kids and actually get them to a place where they can really thrive and push them forward. But that's not what is being prescribed to like her to do. I guess she has to work within the framework that they created. But as far as the idea of teachers never do anything, or tech employees never do anything, or like a lot of broad stroke that people will just paint across an entire like group of people working on something, and it's really sad because they push this narrative of like tech employees never work hard, and then in the same breath you'll definitely see them. Oh well, he has to work for 12 hours and sleep at the office to do to do on while working salary, not getting any overtime. He's working 12 hours a day on salary, and maybe he does make six figures, but I mean 12 hours a day for 7 days a week, that's 84 hours. You would think that that's working hard, but it does seem like a lot of people think like that isn't hard work, and so they equate hard work. A lot of people equate hard work to physical labor, and that's the unfortunate thing, is they think like, oh well, if you're doing a brainstorming session, if you're doing a whiteboard session, stuff like this, or whatever it may be, or if you're just working on implementing a feature, that you're not doing anything. Period. I will say that once you get to a certain point, in once you've built up a certain credential and everything, you don't have to like, you know, do hundreds of lines of code a minute. Or you don't have to like you don't have to push yourself so hard once you get to a certain point, and nor should you like once you've sort of been a veteran of the industry and this kind of stuff. I don't think anybody expects that. Like someone who worked hard on the floor in a factory, and then they become the floor manager. You don't expect the floor manager to work like physically work as hard as the person who just started and who's working on the factory floor. Nobody expects that. It's just sort of this sort of weird thing with like the tech industry, particularly. And I wanted to call that out, and I wanted people to like change your perspective on this a little bit, like especially on like in right wing spheres, like people who are generally like Republican voters or like the right wing economical view of it. They think like tech workers do nothing, like, and so it's really really weird how they do that. And then they also say like in the same breath they'll say that, oh well, if he has to work 12 hours a day and sleep at the office and ignore his family and all this kind of stuff, like that's just part of that's what he signed up for, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. It's really demeaning and degrading to a lot of the individual people involved. I don't think that I don't necessarily have sympathy for a lot of the workers. So I guess to clarify here at the end, I don't necessarily have a lot of sympathy for a lot of people who were fired in some of these layoffs. They're probably not some of the people who actually do any of the work on the product. They're probably a lot of them useless, like middle management. There are a lot of more managers than coders. Even Elon would say, in regards to Twitter specifically. I'm sure that at Meta it was the same, like with Facebook. I'm sure that they have the same problem where they have a lot more managers than actual coders. And so when you look at this, I don't really have sympathy for a lot of the people who were necessarily fired, but I think that a lot of people were like, oh yeah, like Twitter can run with 50 employees. That may be true. Like it may run, but I do think that if you're going to want to have any sort of vision, if you want to do anything impressive with the platform, if you want to fix things, and I'm sure there are plenty of bugs and issues going on daily that they need to fix, and especially for a platform with as many users as Twitter, it probably does need some daily work on that kind of stuff. So having a decent number of employees does make sense. You don't need like it doesn't need to be 50 guys who are working 12 hours a day. You can have people sort of working shifts and do all this kind of stuff. I don't really like the idea of people just thinking that you need to you need 50 people who slave away at a product to make it work. And they're trying to do this because they think that if they suggest this, it'll reduce the overall number of tech jobs. They think they view tech jobs as very like overly like too white collar, too bourgeoisie. Like they view everyone in tech as some sort of like left wing lunatic that is mooching off of the company, and that's just not the case. There are a lot of people who actually do really good work. Just they just don't necessarily want to break their back every day trying to do a job. They would much rather kind of be the brains of some of the operations and try to work through solutions for some of the problems. Because that's what a lot of it is in tech. It's a lot of problem solving. So I think that some of these layoffs were warranted, obviously, but definitely don't paint with such a broad stroke, especially right wing people. Please, I hope that a lot of right wing people see this and actually take it to heart, because you don't want to make someone like me, who is like a 80 to 90% ally, and turn me into a complete enemy just because of the fact that you like have like some sort of like, it's not even class, because I would classify myself as like middle class, like very middle class. And so I'm not like upper class. I'm not the upper crust of society, just because I work in tech. And so I want people change some of their perspectives and change some of their tunes on that. Honestly, you should recruit a lot of these people who may be allies to help us. You know, like to because we need our own version of a lot of things, and it may not be the best way, but parallelism is going to be something that is definitely needs to be considered going forward. And you know, having someone, you know, even like myself, it would be great to be able to work on those kind of products and be able to deliver that kind of stuff. But that's all I have for this video. Hopefully, you don't just hate tech employees anymore. Hopefully, you got a new perspective on this. I hope that everyone enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also check the links below for all the stuff related to me and what I'm doing. So, but that's all I have for this video. This is Trey from Trey's Think Tank, signing out.